Hello and welcome to our keynote, our presentation. Some of you might have expected Dirk Weil here, my colleague, but unfortunately he's not able to be here, so I took over. I'm Szymanski, the CMO of Stryking Entertainment, and I will talk a little about the future of free-to-play and how we see this topic. So I will take you through a short view of the market situation. Then I will present our way of solving these problems and the results we have from this. And then I will show a short example. This is our first product, Auto Club Revolution. It's a free-to-play online racing game where you can see some of the effects I will talk about quite clearly. So let me start by talking shortly about the market situation. Right now, when you take a look at the press, there are a lot of bad things you can read. So staff is laid off. Some companies struggle to replicate the successes they had before. If you take a very short look at the news right now, it seems like the free-to-play space isn't that good anymore. But on the other hand, we can see a lot of new players on the market. For example, yes, Todd. we have some big brands that are taken over to free-to-play, like for example Anno. We have big companies that were specialized in PC and even console games who are now going for free-to-play, like Crytek, who say that they only see free-to-play as a future. And we have completely new players like World of Tanks or Wargaming in this case, who have really new products and really are really successful with completely new products for the free-to-play market. So there are a lot of spaces that haven't been used right now, and so there's a lot of space where we can go. So in the end, you can say the free-to-play market is still a good and growing market, but the fight for the customers has become harder. So this is a funnel like we know it. So in the first case, we try to get users into our games. Then we try to keep them in the games as long as possible. We try to get money from them, of course, as much as possible. And then we have some return on investment. This is how it worked the whole time. But now there are some problems. The user acquisition is becoming harder and harder. This is due to a lot of reasons, but when we started with free-to-play, there were only a few players on the market, and it was quite easy to get the players into your game. Now there's a lot more games, so it's a lot harder to attract these people to your game. So the competition for the users gets higher and harder. And this results in higher acquisition costs. So while it was possible a few years ago to get users for like 50 cents or €1 in Germany, now that is more or less not possible anymore because there are just so many companies who want to get these users in that the costs are rising. If you take a look at the retention, there are some problems as well. First of all, when the companies realized that free-to-play is a good model, we had a lot of Me Too products. So if you take a look at certain product categories, for example, fantasy MMOs or round-based strategy games, there are so many players out that you don't even know anymore which one is good, which is not. And for the users, it's quite easy when they don't like a game or there are some mistakes in it and they're not happy with it anymore. They can switch easily to another product that has the same quality and has some users as well. So it's harder to keep the users in your game. And then we have the whole digital entertainment market. So it's not even that we compete with other games, but we also compete with completely different things. For example, TV or music, concert, whatever, because the users, they have a limited time, spare time. So we have to get them and play your game. And then for the PC games, at least, more and more mobile is getting bigger and bigger. So there are some good games as well, and these are competitors as well. So in the end, we have a reduced user retention. Then the monetization, the old rule, the 99-1 rule. So that means we only monetize about 10% of the users. Of course, there are a lot of games who monetize more players or more users. But in the end, we have always the majority of the players are not paying anything in your game. Then the lifetime value of the users go down, and that is due to the limited retention or the decreased retention. Because if the people don't stay that long like before, of course they pay less. And one problem as well is that the focus right now is more or less only on item selling still. So it's the old model, there's nothing new in this space. The item selling is not working that good anymore. So if we take a look at the funnel again, we can say that the user acquisition costs have gone up. The retention has gone down, and the monetization is limited. And this leads to a struggle to deliver a positive ROI, because if these factors are not working that well anymore, at some point it might turn into a negative ROI. So yeah, this is a situation for a lot of companies. This is an impression that you can have on the market. But this is a question of how you do it, because if you go the old ways on and on again, of course you will have these problems. But if you have some new ideas and do it differently, then there are a lot of chances of doing it differently and be more successful. So our approach is the building of interactive digital entertainment worlds. And yeah, it's a very long word, and it works like this. So we have 4 different pillars of this concept. It's online gaming universes, it's stars, fans, and communities, consumer brands, and mobile apps or different companion apps. So if we start with the online gaming universe, so the center of our interactive digital entertainment worlds are still games. High-quality games can keep users long into the games, and they will play long and stay. If you take a look at the market numbers, and right now this is only the German market, you can see that from now to the year 2016, they are still expected that we have a growth of 100%, so that we have double the market size. So even if a lot of players or people say that mobile is a new area where you should go, still online games will grow and will be big in the future. This is due to the fact that right now in the free-to-play online gaming universe, only a few of the actual gaming sectors have been explored, because more or less all of the games are fantasy MMOs, and there are a lot of different other games which work on the normal gaming market and which are not there in the free-to-play market. So there are a lot of different sectors where people can go and where there's not that much competition right now. The second thing are stars, fans, and communities. So if we have online games, we can bring stars in. In the old times, it has been done like you can see on the picture. So it was more like testimonials, that you have a Messi on the cover of a FIFA soccer, that you have even the Guitar Hero approach is very good because you can attract the Aerosmith fans. But in online games, you can bring the stars directly in contact with your community. So just an example from our games, from Auto Club Revolution. We are now in contact with a young racing driver, and he will be in the game in the future and drive races directly against the community. He will be in there and chat with them. He will talk about the things he sees every day on the real racetracks. So this is a very good connection, because he can talk directly to his fans, and the fan can address questions to him and can actually compete against him, which is really cool for them. Then we have the whole area of consumer brands. If you take a look, this is an example of Nike. what they did in the past is they started with the advertising, then they saw that events is a very powerful tool for them, so they started to sponsor events or to have own events. Then social media was added to this. Of course, sponsoring is a very old topic for them. But in newer games, you have the branded virtual goods so that you can buy Nike shoes in a game, and it's really cool for you that you want to achieve these cool Nike shoes in a basketball game like it is here. Yeah, the last step would be that you actually can buy real products inside the game. So if you have bought these shoes as a virtual item, why shouldn't you be able to buy these real shoes, physical shoes, in the shop as well and get them delivered home? It's only a small step, but in that point, when the people are really happy that they have got the shoes in the game, why shouldn't we offer them to buy them as well in the real world? So brands can be a big addition to games because they can give you content like the shoes, or if you think about the racing game again, we have a big cooperation with BMW where the users got a free car inside the game, so they were really happy about the car, and BMW was really happy that they could give it to people who are actually really interested into racing. And then you can have sponsorings in-game as well. You can have sponsored leaderboards. You can have sponsored events inside the game. So there's a big open field of things you can do with brands inside the game, which they are happy about, that they can address their core users or core fans, and which is actually a really good thing for the players as well. And then the last field is the mobile app or the companion app. So it is quite important for this interactive digital entertainment world that you have a cross-platform approach, so that people can get into touch with this platform whenever they want. And in some cases, it might even be that mobile might be the lead platform. So that depends on the type of game and on the type of the fan groups you want to address. So just a short recap of these interactive digital entertainment worlds. The idea is to go into spaces or sectors where other games haven't been, so make something new. Then build a community around it and integrate stars, and so have a whole community that they talk about the topic. Again, the racing, people, if they find a new car somewhere, if they have a cool car on their own, they can post it to the community. It's not only the game is just the center of it, and there's a whole community around it. Then we can integrate consumer brands because we have a big user group. And the brands are interested into getting into contact with the user group, and the user group gets cool content for it. And then you need this cross-platform approach with companion apps and other devices you can add to it. So, what are the effects? If you take a look at the problems we had before, what could this mean for user acquisition costs? Actually, it's quite positive, because if you base a game on existing user groups, for example, again, cars. There are a lot of cars communities outside, and you can address them. You can talk to them. You don't have to pay for them. They are quite willing to make cooperations with you, to start events with you. So you can get a lot of new users by just addressing all these existing user bases. If we integrate if we integrate stars into the games, it's the same, because they actually have already fans, and there will be a big viral effect coming out of this. Because if people learn that they can actually get into contact with real stars in these games, they will come to your game and you don't have to pay for them in this moment. And it's quite easy to connect to real live events. If you think, for example, of the X Games, all these extreme sports, there are so many things going on, and there are so many fans of these events. And yeah, if you can get into connection with these real events and mirror them into your game, again, you will get a lot of attention for this and awareness. So all these facts deliver reduced acquisition costs. So yeah, that's easier for you to get new users. if you take a look at the retention, what are the effects there? The content we have in the game is good for the players because it's high quality content. If it's something that comes from the brands they like and they really are fans from, it's good to have this content in the game because they will like it. And you can create new content with the brands all the time. For example, as I said before, you can have sponsored leaderboards with with physical giveaways so that you can win shoes or whatever inside the game. Then you have the big social communities of these brands and stars. So you can have the cross-linking all the time, so there's an ongoing communication the whole time. Yeah, and then you have the interaction with the stars, so if you have chats in the game and stuff like that, maybe you can at some point show a product for the first time in the game, for example, do stuff like this. That's really cool for the fans, and it will all be reasons to come back to the game. And then we have the monetization. Of course, a lot of, or at least some games are already doing it. They sell branded items in the game, so that is not really completely new, but it's not used that often. So it's quite easy to sell Nike shoes, to sell whatever in game. But then there are a lot of more possibilities because it's not all about selling. You can also monetize the not paying users with product placements, with sponsorships or whatever. So the bigger your community is, the better the monetization in this case. And then in the end, you can integrate a real e-commerce offering. And I will go into detail a little deeper here. So this is a monetization model, how we know it right now. You have a free-to-play game, then you have some kind of character development, level progression, whatever. So most of it you will be able to obtain by just playing the game, but at some point you will have to buy in-game currency with real money. Then you will buy products, spells, whatever, and it will go on and on. So quite normal in-game shop as you know them. But there are so many more opportunities of monetizing players besides this shop. So the first point, the in-game advertising, that is something that is used by quite a lot of games, at least where it is possible. Of course, for fantasy games, it's not that easy, but for sports games, for other games, you can have in-game advertising. Then what we have talked about before, you have product placement and sponsoring opportunities that you just show products, that you sell branded items. But in the last step, you can even go a step further. You can do lead generation. For example, if we have, again, our racing game, you could send them to car manufacturers at some point if they are interested, and you can say, here you can have a test drive with your favorite car of the game. So that would be quite easy to do this. And then the physical sales, okay, that maybe is not that even easily possible with a car racing game, because to sell a car via item shop is maybe a little difficult. But as said before, the example with the shoes, you could sell these shoes and send them to him in an in-game shop as well. So again, the funnel, this is how we know it. With this interactive entertainment world, you can reduce the user acquisition costs. You can increase the user retention. You can have additional monetization possibilities, and this will increase your ROI and reduce the risk, because if you can get sponsors in quite early, even maybe before the game is launching, then you can reduce the risk. So, just a short example from Auto Club Revolution. A few words about it. It's a free-to-play online racing game. We went into open beta in April, if I'm right, or March. So we still are in open beta. It is built in collaboration with the motorsports industry. We have licensed brands, cars, racetracks, and upgrade manufacturers in it. Right now we have about 50 different car manufacturers in, and I think 150 upgrade manufacturers. You can customize your car, tune it, race with it. More than 1 million races have been raced by now. And the highlight is the cooperation with BMW, and I will just show you a short movie about how this worked.
Auto Auto Club Revolution is a free-to-play online racing game built around communities of car fans, such as fans of the BMW 1 Series M Coupe.
I saw Auto Club Revolution for the first time 15 months ago, and when we saw it, we immediately knew this is something we want to be part of.
The BMW 1 M Coupe is a perfect BMW. We put a lot of M ingredients into this car. Handling is perfect and you really can go up to the limit without problems.
When we model a car in Auto Club Revolution from a physics standpoint, there's literally thousands of little mathematical models that we use to assemble the physical characteristics of the car. But the real art and the finesse comes from building the feel of how a car feels. They sent us a car, we got to touch it, we got to take pictures of it. Our physics guys got to drive it, and really get a feel for how the car behaved.
It's amazing how similar the handling of the 1 Series M Coupe is to the realistic car. The acceleration, the performance in the corners.
It really feels, and the vehicle handles like you're sitting in the car and you're on a real racetrack.
BMW is always looking just for partners who have the same high standard quality like we do. So this is what we love about Auto Club Revolution.
That's why the collaboration was so good, because there's such good alignment between the two companies and between the two brand philosophies.
Customers really love to find the dream car, or maybe the car they own, in the race games, and to drive it also in the race game.
So what we love about Auto Club Revolution is that people from all over the world can engage with their favorite cars. You just need access to a web browser, that's it. So you don't need a console to play a game.
I think it gives us a chance and the opportunity to allow a lot of people to drive the car and maybe use the chance to get some feedback.
For many trying to get a 1 Series M Coupe, this will be the only opportunity to drive it, just because of the small production volume.
The great thing about Auto Club Revolution is you can come and experience a car that you may not have easy access to, and drive it and feel it and talk to your friends about it and invite your friends to play it and give it a try. And that kind of unites people in an experience that they might not normally otherwise be able to get. BMW has really embraced the online space and the gaming space, and that attitude is really forward-thinking.
We worked very hard with the Auto Club Revolution team on the BMW 1 Series M Coupe experience to make it as good as we can, and now we are so delighted it's here for our fans.
Yeah, so this is a video about the BMW cooperation we had, the BMW experience. In the game, it meant that we had a special URL where the people had a new start into the game, so they got the BMW at once. They could choose the color, choose the tires, do a lot of stuff to the BMW, then race one track with it. And in the end, the engineer you could see in the video, there was a small video, and he was handing over the key to you, so that you got your BMW keys directly from the engineer in the game. Yeah, so this was just an example on how it could work. I actually had one more slide, but I think we can skip it. It was just how we had these effects in Auto Club Revolution, but I think I already mentioned most of them. So yeah, just as a small recap, I think that the best opportunities right now in order to have a good game and a working game is to go new ways and to not launch any more Me Too products. There are so many things that haven't been used, and so there are a lot of open fields right now which are not used. Of course, we will have successful fantasy MMOs, we will have successful round strategy games, but it's harder and harder to really make them successful, so why not go out and try something new? So yeah, that's actually it, so thank you. Yeah.